like
Very good. Caw, baby birds, this is on. Yo, what's going on? Doug Miller, CEO of Core Nutritionals with the rest of the Gains Alliance.
Marc, Lobliner, CEO of MTS Nutrition.
Mike Rashid, Ambrosia Nutrition.
No, seriously.
Oh, sorry. I'm the natural small white one. Anyway, Sean Torbati, High Performance Nutrition.
All right, so today we're going to talk about something that a lot of people don't like to talk about, and that's failure. So you see a lot of videos talking about successes and what it takes to be successful. Well, one of the things that I think really drives people to be successful is failure and then overcoming failure. So today we're going to talk about a couple examples of where we have failed and how we've learned from that. I've come across a lot of people through the business world and employees, and my best employees are the ones that I can have a conversation with about messing something up, and they don't get all butthurt about it. They adapt, they overcome, and they get better. The ones that will cry about it, the snowflakes, those are the ones that never get better and are eventually gone. So if you want to kick it off, Mark, you have anything? Can you talk a little bit about an example where you failed and then have overcome that?
Well, I have the opportunity to have a daughter who's extremely driven and motivated, and her idea, losing to her is the end of the world. And through that, I've done a lot of research on winning and losing, and that's success and failure in essence. Mm-hmm. And Michael Jordan is the one I paraphrase. The reason I'm winning is because I've lost before. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, you're not going to learn how to win unless you lose occasionally, and that's unfortunate. Doug in his bodybuilding career has never lost. So regardless, my main thing is I always look at losing as a way to prove people wrong. You see what I'm saying? Like when I took the opportunity, I left a great job in corporate America at Weeder Publications, and I went and I started Instone with Sylvester Stallone. I got fired, man. I failed miserably, but I was so caught up in proving them wrong that it was like, all right, you know what? I'm going to go out, I'm going to start my own thing, and I'm going to become more successful than them. And that's in essence what happens. So what you do is you use that learning experience of when you failed to create successes. Like when you lose. When you lose, it means that someone's better than you. So what do? You train harder and get better. Same with business. You learn from your mistakes so you don't repeat them again. And it just makes you better. So you're going to fail. Don't try to fail, but guess what? You're going to. And you're going to lose occasionally. Anybody who's played competitive sports knows you're going to lose occasionally. The key is to make yourself that much better so you can't be beat. Leave no doubt.
And the thing is, don't cry about it. I mean, that's what I see a lot today is people, when they fail, it's always somebody else's excuse.
Accountability.
Take ownership of your failure. And, that your story was a little bit about mine. I know right when I came out of school, I was really focused on school. So I wanted to graduate with a 4.0. I did graduate number one in my class, and I was really driven during that time. So when I came into the real world and got a job in corporate America, it was really kind of an eye-opener for me. I think I don't want to say lazy because I don't think I've ever been lazy, but the first 6 months I was just kind of floating by. I was treating a job which probably needed 65 hours a week as a 45 hour a week job, and it just wasn't enough. And so after 6 months, my first kind of interim review was mediocre at best. It was like, do you really want to be here? Are you putting in the time and effort? You have so much more than this to offer. And that hurt. That cut me deep. And I was like, F this. I am way better than this. I never want my legacy to be like that. And so even though that job was not my passion, I was like, this is where I'm called to be right now. So if I'm going to be here, I'm going to kick ass at this.
Yeah.
And so it was I never was kind of told you're doing a bad job pretty much at anything. I've always kind of excelled at the things that I chose to focus on. And so getting that was a real eye-opener for me. And I know that changed my approach to, at the time, economic consulting in my job. But I think I see that a lot today in managing a lot of other young people coming up. It's like I said, I have guys, I'll have a conversation with them, or my GM will have a conversation with them. You're not performing. And, it's how they respond. People can get very upset about it, and then they kind of, they take offense to it. This is like, we just want you to be better. So it's really important to take all that criticism and, that's there to make you better. So it's how you respond to it, which is so important.
Well, those are both great examples, and I'm going to give one, I have a bunch actually, but I'm going to give one that I think might be the most poignant for many people watching this video and most relatable. A lot of you are probably in college or getting ready for college, or maybe you just finished. And I can tell you from my past that my dream from when I was 12 years old and on was to go to USC, the University of Southern California. And so much so that after high school, I had good grades in high school, not perfect grades by any means. I had like a 3.7 or 6 or something. I never really, to be honest with you, applied myself ever in high school because I was just able to just really get pretty damn good grades just by going through the motions and just showing up. I rarely did homework. So looking back, maybe I should have gone a little harder there, but I was focused on other things, to be honest with you. I had already found my passion in fitness, and I was already attacking that, and then I was wrestling as well on a high level. So I didn't get into USC out of high school, but I said, this is what I really want. This is what I am meant to do. This is my path. And so I went to California and went to the University of California in Irvine for my first year with the goal of transferring to USC afterwards. That is why I moved to California. I said, I'm going to make this happen. And the way this story is going to end is to show you how failure can be a good thing. I went there and I got a 4.0 my first year. Perfect grades in every class. I still didn't get in. I gave it 120. I gave it 100% effort, and I still did not get in to the school I wanted to get into. However, because I went so hard while I was out there, I made the connections and I met the people that would later shape my life, that would put me in the position to be where I am today. And that was because I took that step and I gave it everything, and I went there and I tried to make it happen. So if you fail, and you might fail in many things you do, if it was a well thought out plan and you actually applied yourself, that failure, I guarantee you, will lead to a future success.
Well, if you try really hard, the thing is you never know who you're going to meet and who's going to notice you. And I go back to my kids, because when you're a parent, and Doug, you have 2 kids, Sean, you have a bunch of kids you don't pay child support on. So the thing is, you have to take these things and teach your kids. Like my kids are going to a camp, this is a soccer camp. My daughter's going to Notre Dame soccer camp. I'm like, yeah, you're 11, but you never know who's going to notice you, who later on will be like, I marked that girl down. You always have to give it your all. And just like you in high school, I was good enough at football to skate by and still get in, so to speak. But I did not apply myself because it didn't interest me. And because I knew the only way I focused on that one thing. So whatever you're focusing on, give it your all, because you never know who's going to notice you. Like, how many people in this industry have you seen leave a company who you wouldn't know, but people notice how hard they worked for that company. Next thing you know, they have 40 offers. You never know who's going to notice. Just make yourself valuable.
Well, especially in this industry, it's such a small industry, and that's why I say never burn bridges in this industry, because it'll always come around. Absolutely. Like if you're talking to a retailer and they're a jerk to you or something like that, that's bad on them. That looked bad on their store, and then it'll come back to them. So it's just like I tell that to all my guys at the nutrition corners. I was like, treat everyone with respect. You never know who you're going to run into. You
never know where they're going to go in their career either. Yeah. I don't care if but everybody should be treated with respect. But back to the topic at hand, failure is something that is a necessity. There's always going to be someone out there. Cavs had a great basketball team. Guess what? There was a better team. So they could be. So now what do? They have to either. Obviously, there's trades and everything involved, but they have to regroup. How do they come back? How do they get better? How do they become a better team?
And to add to that, when you said Cavs, I was like, I can't speak anymore.
Speaking of failures,
you went in a different direction.
All right, so to sum this up, at the end of the day, you all are going to fail at some point. But what's really going to make or break you is how you respond to that failure and coming through and looking at the positive things you can learn from that instead of just sitting in the corner and crying about your failure. So at the end of the day, you got to keep crushing it.
But that ending, though, that was better than It's Not a Game. I'm going to have to just...
It was so abrupt. It's like Doug's sex. He's like, done.